Hey YouTube, it's Zoe or Read by Zoe, and today I'm going to share with you all a big London book haul. I've been here for about 4 months studying abroad, and of course, being me, I have purchased a bunch of books. I love the UK covers of books, so I have repurchased a few books that I have in the American edition, and I feel no shame because I love these covers. But of course I purchased some new books that I haven't read before. Before I start, I just wanted to clear a few things up that I've been a little confusing about regarding college, and that is that I am only going to be studying abroad here in London for this one semester, which means that I'm going to be leaving in a couple of weeks, sadly. But I'm leaving so that I can transfer to a different university. I right now go to the University of Florida in Florida, obviously, but I'm going to be transferring to Emerson College in Boston, Massachusetts, which I know, and I know a lot of you know, that's where Sasha over at A Book Utopia goes to college. She's actually the only person who I know that goes to Emerson, so of course we're going to be hanging out and we're going to be making some collabs together, which will be very exciting, but also kind of bittersweet because I'm leaving London, but I am going to a better place. That sounds like I'm dying. But enough of that, let's go on to the book haul. The first 6 books that I purchased are repurchases in a different cover because they are the Mortal Instruments series books by Cassandra Clare, all 6 of them, and I love these covers. I have a mix between the paperback and the hardcover editions of the US covers, and I do like them, but I love these so much more, and it makes me really want to reread the series, especially because the Shadowhunters TV show is coming out in January, just a couple of weeks. Oh my goodness. We have City of Bones, City of Ashes, and if you can't see, this image right here on all of the books kind of give you a little synopsis of what happens in the book in images. City of Glass, City of Fallen Angels, City of Lost Souls, and I think this one is my favorite just because this is like a battle stance and he looks so ferocious. And finally, City of Heavenly Fire. And the one complaint I have about these editions is that there is no Sizzy anywhere on these covers. Excuse me, I like Clace, but Sizzy is the OTP in this series, let's be real. Next, I was sent a book by Disney Hyperion, so thank you so much for sending me a book, and the book that they sent me was 1,000 Nights by E.K. Johnston, which is actually a retelling of 1001 Nights or Arabian Nights, which is a classic story. I've never actually read it, and I have no real clue as to what that story is about. I don't know anything about the story, so this will be really interesting for me to read. It'll give me a little hint of what the original story is about, but also it sounds like a really cool story in and of itself. This is about a girl who lives under the rule of this man named Lo Melkeen, and it says that he had killed 300 girls before coming to her village to find a wife. And he's going to want to marry the most beautiful girl in the village, which is this girl's sister, but she doesn't want her sister to marry him and then be killed, so she takes her place and then goes to his palace and tells him a bunch of stories. She doesn't actually die, so she's wondering why she's not killed and what's happening, and also there's magic. Also, this cover is banging. I really like it. Next, I purchased a Sophie Kinsella book, big surprise, and I got I've Got Your Number, which I've actually already read, and I loved it. I really, really liked it. This was my favorite Sophie Kinsella book that I've read so far. It's about this woman named Poppy who loses her engagement ring, which is really bad because it's a very expensive family heirloom of her fiance's. Then her cell phone also gets stolen when she's trying to find her engagement ring, so everything's just going completely wrong. She's really flustered. She finds this cell phone in the trash can, which is kind of sketchy, but she realizes that no one around her is looking for a cell phone, so she just takes it and uses it and is like, yeah, that's mine now. This man named Sam is then texting her and is like, wait, who are you? Why are you on this phone? Because it belonged to his assistant, actually. So she helps him out with all of his assistanting stuff, and he tries to help her find her engagement ring, and it gets really cute. I love the UK edition covers of the Sophie Kinsella books because they're just so colorful. I then purchased the 10th anniversary edition of Twilight, which includes Life and Death Twilight Reimagined by Stephanie Meyer, which, if you don't know, is the gender swap edition of Twilight. So Bella is now Beau and Edward is Edith, and it's just different. I actually have not read it yet. I started it, I was about 20 pages in, but then I got distracted by having to read things for school, so sadly I have not finished it yet, but I gave this book to my roommate and she read it and she really enjoyed it. I trust her judgment because she also used to be a huge Twilight fan, just like me. I know some people are frustrated because it's supposedly exactly the same story except the ending as Twilight. It's just all of the characters who were male are now female and vice versa. But Stephenie Meyer's books are so easy to read and they're pretty entertaining, so I know I'm gonna read it. About a month ago, I traveled to Amsterdam, which was amazing. I think it was my favorite place that I traveled to in Europe, besides London, of course. When I was there, I visited the Anne Frank house, which was an amazing experience. If you ever travel to Amsterdam, definitely step in there. I purchased her diary, Anne Frank, The Diary of a Young Girl, which I actually have not read yet. I know a lot of people read it when they're in about elementary school or middle school, but I never got around to reading it, and now that I've actually visited where she lived and where she hid from the Nazis, I really think that this would be even more powerful. Next, I purchased Queen of Shadows by Sarah J. Maas. This is the 4th book in the Throne of Glass series. I'm going to pick it up when I have time to just sit there and read and finish the book, because I know that once I start reading this book, I will not be able to put it down. Just like all of her other books, they're so addictive and you need to know what happens next, and Selena is such a kick-butt hero. Penguin then sent me a book. Thank you so much, Penguin, for sending me this book, which is The Young Elites by Marie Lu. Her 2nd book in this series, The Rose Society, just came out, but I have not read the 1st book yet, so they sent me this one. It's about this dystopian society where a decade before, a deadly blood fever plagued the nation, and those who survived had these strange markings which said that they had these special powers. 2 different groups called the Acquisition Access and the Dagger Society want to kill them, which is unfortunate, and the main character, Adelina, just wants to be left alone, it says. But she has special powers, so I love that. I love books about special powers. I then purchased Carry On by Rainbow Rowell. This I have heard amazing things about, especially from Katie Tastic, who has read this like 4 times, I think, in the time that it's been out. It's actually based off of the fan fiction that the main character in Fangirl named Kath wrote. In this, it also says Carry On is a ghost story, a love story, and a mystery. It has just as much kissing and talking as you'd expect from a Rainbow Rowell story, but far more monsters. That sounds great, and I love Rainbow Rowell's writing. I actually just finished rereading Fangirl, so I am all prepped and ready to jump into this book. Also, take a look at this cover. You see this? You see this? Bam! Yes! Oh my gosh, didn't even notice there's a map in here. And it's cute, and I love maps in books so much. They're so helpful to imagine the world that you're reading about, and they're just pretty. Speaking of Harry Potter type things, I actually repurchased Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. Not the Sorcerer's Stone like we have in America, because apparently we don't know what a philosopher is. I purchased this beautiful edition at the Harry Potter Studios. The last books that I purchased are from Foyles, which is a bookshop that's pretty darn close to me, and I love it. It's several stories tall, and I just like how it's arranged, and they have great books. And I went here with the people from my meetup a couple of weeks ago. By the way, thanks to all the people who came to the meetup. I had an amazing time. We went to the park, and then we went to the bookstore, and then we went to Starbucks and talked for a long time. It was a very long meetup because we were just getting to know each other, and I love all of you. You all are great. I had a fantastic time, and I bought some good books. I purchased 3 books at Foyles, and the first one that I got was another Sophie Kinsella book. Because I have a problem, apparently. I just can't go a month without reading a Sophie Kinsella book. They're like candy. Or like Lay's. You can not only read one. I don't know what I'm saying, but I purchased The Undomestic Goddess. It's about this woman named Samantha, and she is this high-powered lawyer in London, but she makes one mistake which just sends her career into a nosedive. Everything just goes wrong, so she runs away and becomes a maid. She tries to hide her identity, and she meets this cute man. Book number 2 is Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen. I have too many editions of this book, but it is my favorite book, so again, sorry not sorry. This is so beautiful. I walked into Foyles and I could just feel it calling my name, so I just walked over and I picked it up, and it's so nice. It's just all of it. So there are illustrations like this, just so many illustrations everywhere. It's already a fun time reading some Jane Austen, but this is just even better. The last book that I purchased was Winter by Marissa Meyer. This is the last book in the Lunar Chronicles series. I love this series so much. If you don't know, it is a sci-fi retelling of famous fairy tales. So winter is Snow White. I'm going to try and finish it really darn soon because it is amazing. So that was my big London book haul. I hope you all enjoyed. Thank you all for watching. Remember to follow me on all of my social media. The links are down below, and I will talk to you all later. Bye!